Hey guys, welcome to the Dynasty253 podcast, where we're going to get all of our fantasy football trash finally so you guys can take a look and listen to it and see what you think. I'm Chris, aka the Cursed Commissioner, joined by Rob, aka Air Jordan, which he will be changing his name shortly. Spoiler alert. And today we're going to dig into the life, legacy, and questionable trade decisions of your commission co-commish. First off, I wanted to get this podcast going so, I have a place that we can all talk and meet, and you guys can listen and laugh and joke. Also, I just think it's unique for our Dynasty League, which hopefully will be together for quite a while, even though we've lost a few people in the first couple of years. Hopefully we'll stick to the same people. So basically what I like to do is do this kind of interview, get to know each other, because it's kind of hard to get to know your people when it's just a couple messages through Facebook. Makes it a little bit difficult. But then during the season, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe Tuesday nights for about a half hour, we do like a little recap of the week and kind of foreshadowing what the next week's looking like. Just one of those things. Rob, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't mind that. That seems kind of fun. I mean, if I need a weekly update to remind me I'm in last place, we can do that.
Well, it's better than my team choking all the time.
Yeah, sure, man. Better to have loved and lost than never loved at all. Like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
I getting eliminated from the playoffs in week 4.
It happens. All right, so basically I want to start this off is just do a quick interview with Rob, kind of going over your fantasy background, life background, so on and so forth. And then we'll flip the script and tell you guys a little bit about myself, and then we'll go from there. So first up, Rob, tell me about yourself, man. What do you do as your family?
See all that back there? That's what I do. I raise children. They make a big old mess, and I mean, like, this is a organized bookshelf. So give you an idea what I kind of get into. Most people know a little bit about that background, but we have like the 4 boys, right? There's Connor and Benjamin and Nathan and Shane. And then me and my wife have been married for almost 20 years now. I recently moved out of engineering and went into sales because you can make more money when you're the smart guy in the room. Apparently, when you kind of played it to your level, right? And so when you're with a bunch of engineers, you're as smart as everybody. But then you go into a sales group and all of a sudden, you know things they don't. They think you're smarter. So it works out pretty well for me. So that's kind of what my big thing in life. Originally, we came from, let's see, I was born in San Diego. So Chris, actually, I think we kind of have the same path. San Diego to Washington, North Carolina to Washington, and South Carolina. Eventually, you'll be out here. So
yeah, pretty soon, hopefully.
I said we just live in the same spots, basically. Yeah, so my dad was in the Navy in San Diego, and I think I was like 7 or 8 when we moved back to Washington, because that's like where all his family was from. And then I went and joined the Marine Corps in 2000, and then we were in North Carolina till 2011 or 2012, and then moved back to Tacoma, and then we left Tacoma in 21. Right at the height of the pandemic, and got to play in that fun world where we got to compete with BlackRock for houses. So don't recommend. But yeah, that's effectively that's the most of me, I guess.
Nice, and yeah, you and I met at Tacoma Community College. That was.
But you know what's weird? I was thinking about this the other day when we were talking, and I don't know when we met or where we met, and I know it was at TCC, right? But it's like a decade and a half ago too. But I'm thinking about it, and it's like because I don't think we took many classes together.
I think we just took the one math class.
That's why it had to be the math class, right? Because we were on completely different paths. And so I was like, they're just a day. I went to school, and then like one time I was friends with Chris, and then I've just been friends with Chris. But I was like trying to trace it back to like, when did it happen? Because like most of the people that I still talk to from TCC are all, we went through the whole engineering program together. Yeah, I'm thinking we just had that like one intro level math course together where it was like, and I think we went outside to have cigarettes or something.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, we're friends now. So.
Yep, the good old days.
You like football? I like football. Here we go.
Yeah, we're gonna talk football all the time.
Maybe we bonded over hatred of the Seahawks. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was.
That might actually be plausible.
I think that might have been it. And not to get everyone all riled up day one, but yeah, that was a controversial team at the time. So
yes, it was. So how long you been playing fantasy football?
I think the first time I played was in like Iraq in 2009. And I played with like a buddy because we literally had nothing going on. And then I took probably 1 year off. And then I think 2011, my sister actually started the Yahoo League that we play in. And so that was one of the big leagues that my first like push into fantasy football as a consistent thing. What was that, 15 years roughly?
Okay.
That I've been playing. Since I met you, Chris.
Yeah, pretty much. I've been in that league ever since then as well. That's a super fun league. Super fun.
It's a time.
Wish it was for bigger money, but you do what you can do.
We poor, bro.
I know, trust me.
I got children.
So when it comes to your fantasy football strategy, are you like me? I'm a podcast guy. Everybody in the league knows this. I'm a podcast guy. I tend to do my research, and obviously it doesn't do me very good when it comes to pulling out victories, but it happens. What about you? What's your strategy?
When I draft or
Notice, do you do like any
yeah.
pre-draft research and
I mean, so with Dynasty, it changes, right? Historically, so the Yahoo League, for everyone's knowledge, is redraft, right? Full redraft, no keepers. The majority of research, I think, done in that one, because we also play with a 3-man bench, is on bye weeks, effectively, right? There's not a whole ton of research that has to go into that one, because your sleeper picks aren't really going to exist, because the waiver wires usually got people on it, right? Puka was a good example of someone that, grabbed what was a sleeper pick that was able to be held on to for a while. But for the most part, no one's reaching, right? So there's not a whole ton of deep depth research going on to there, right? So it's, you see Jamar Chase, you take him. You say Bijan Robinson, you take him, right? There's no deep, drive into it. With Dynasty, it's kind of forced me to be a lot more involved with with pre-picks. I noticed I was, not to brag, I was at the draft this year. And it was the most names I'd ever known that deep into the draft.
oh, I can see that.
And so, not because it was like, oh, there, but it was, there were people that say it. I was like, oh, I know that person. I know that person. I know that person. And a lot of that probably tied back to I had like a boatload of picks coming into the season. And so I had been mock drafting pretty aggressively. So I think historically I've been a gut kind of guy, what feels good. And I think I've had to change a whole lot. And you can see my rankings. It doesn't matter what I do, but we're building. So all that research is going to pay off one day.
Yeah, and for the rankings that he's talking about, it's a site that I use quite a bit when it comes to making like rankings for our teams. It's called Fantasy Calc. All you have to do is go in there, pick the sleeper tab, enter in your team name, and kind of shows up all the rankings for you for both your starters and the dynasty overall, which includes your draft picks.
I just meant being at the bottom all year last year.
Yeah, well, that happens too.
We held it down. We moved 0 times.
So I was going to ask, about your best and worst year in our Dynasty League. What are you thinking?
Well, worst year was last year, but I would tell you that it was still a victorious year. And the reason is Air Jordan won 2 games last year. Air Jordan won 1 regular season game, which meant we didn't go skunked, and then also won my way out of the punishment. So I managed to secure the #1 overall draft pick and not have to eat a bunch of French fries. So
Yeah,
obviously,
that was a
as
good
far
thing.
as the schedule goes, that was the worst season. The Dynasty League, yeah, best season so far. I like to finish in the middle of the pack. So I think
Okay.
right around 6, 7.
Yeah, right around
I don't think
there.
I've made the playoffs yet. That's embarrassing.
Oh yeah, we're going into year 4.
That was fast.
It's definitely time flies, man. Time flies. So take a quick break from fantasy. Obviously, you're wearing all the Green Bay Packers gear. How long you been a Packers fan?
96. I think it counts, right? So, excuse me. My dad wasn't into sports growing up, so no one told me you had to pick like the local team. So in 96, the Packers play the Patriots, and I watched Brett Favre for like the first time. I was, 10, 12, I think. And so I'm like, that guy's cool. So just football related, okay? No fires. But as far as football goes, Brett Favre was a ton of fun to watch. And so that's kind of, and then Brett Favre was stuck around for like a really long time, till 06. And so at that point, you're kind of locked in. You've been there for a decade,
Yeah.
And then it's easy once you own. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah. Nice. And being a Packers fan, do you find that influencing your fantasy drafts at all? Whether it's in our league, I have seen your wide receivers.
Yeah, there's a lot of it comes back to with wide receivers. I'm really big on Packers wide receivers. They have a tendency to do a really good job finding talent late that can go places, and kind of one of the strategies with what I currently have on there, right? I think I have 4 or 5 of them, and obviously they're not going to be there next season, right? Golden and Reed are going to get the contracts. Odds are Watson will be attempted to be traded next year or cut next year. And Dobbs is definitely getting traded probably this year. So knowing that they had gone from having a wide receiver problem to having a whole bunch of wide receivers and their ability to develop wide receivers, I kind of leaned heavily to grabbing like all their wide receivers, hoping they would end up certain places. In my mind, Romeo Dobbs will end up in Pittsburgh, and Christian Watson will end up with Mahomes over in KC. and then
That
they'll
would
really
be
start to pay
interesting.
dividends.
Yeah.
As far as the rest, I mean, yeah, I do have Jordan Love as my quarterback. That's it for. I have all wide receivers and one quarterback. I don't go super heavy. In fact, I took like Tet this year instead of like going crazy and reaching down for Golden. So I'm gonna say it doesn't influence me too much when it comes to wide receivers. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's got some pull on me,
Okay. So
especially
look,
depth.
yeah. So looking at your squad this year.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh yeah, we're looking. So obviously you drafted Tet in the first round at what, number 5
Yeah,
overall,
the
I believe.
Miracle Boy. Good lord,
Yeah.
whatever that
I
was doing
mean,
there.
so give me some highs of your team, like players that you're really into that can make a difference for your team this year, you think?
Yeah, so Tet, I think is I didn't expect him to be there, right? I thought I would end up with Judkins, is what I thought. I think he's got the ability to be a big playmaker. I mean, Carolina plays from behind a whole ton. He can make a lot of stuff happen. I made a trade to get, goodness gracious, he plays for the Dallas Cowboys now, and he used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. George Pickens, there it is. Holy
Yep,
crap, you
Pickens.
can edit the rest of that part out. But anyway, so George Pickens, honestly, the Dallas Cowboys throw the ball so freaking much. With him as a number 2 behind Lamb, I think that there's just so much potential there for points. So I think my wide receiver squad in general, the return of Rashee Rice, maybe they don't suspend him, but the return of Rashee Rice, I mean, he was on par. He was putting up, 15 points a game last year before, his knee got taken out. Thank you, Mahomes. But yeah, I think my wide receiver squad is the big push. Jordan Love, he has to have a good season, right? So when it's like, do I think he'll help me go somewhere? I don't know per se, but that I think that they've given him enough talent
Yeah.
that it's time for him to actually. So I think Jordan Love will have a good season, and I think he'll help make like an impact.
Yeah, your running backs are little thin. Just little. I mean, Caleb's in a great spot in Pittsburgh. I
He
think he'll
landed
do really
exactly where
well.
I wanted him.
Yep.
I
That'll
thought
be a good
Caleb
one.
Johnson into Pitt was beautiful.
Yeah, that'll definitely work out well. And you're stacked on draft picks.
I am stacked on draft picks, so we made that one swap, and I gave up Ashton Genty, but I did load up, and we'll get into why that's important later. But yeah, I definitely thought this draft running back is my weak spot, and I definitely thought this draft I was going to have access to more running backs. I did not see our first round going the way it did. I didn't think Cam Scatabo would go when he did. I mean, they went flying off the shelves, and so even when I took Caleb Johnson, I had no intention of taking him there initially. I was going to try to move down a little further, and it kind of my hand got forced.
I think I've noticed in the, like I said, the 3 full seasons we've had in this league that running backs are like the prize.
You want them,
Like,
for sure.
yeah, I mean, especially in a half PPR league, you kind of want that push for running backs. My strategy, obviously, if you look at my running backs are pretty loaded.
I saw that.
But they're also very injury prone outside of Genty.
So far.
It's my wide receiver group.
What's your name again?
The Cursed Commish.
Yeah, so let's not put Genty's name out there just yet.
Yeah, let's not.
Yourself in a
But
spot.
yeah, well, it happens. So, who's the player you're most excited about, most irrationally in love with on your team?
Let's start with Christian Watson. I just think he's so good, right? I'm 100% about him. And I know we've had multiple talks back and forth, right? Where it's he's injury prone, right? He's either getting a touchdown or he's getting an injury, right? His knee's giving out or he's scoring. And we've had this conversation. I'm like, he's getting his legs worked on. He's doing some stretches. They got him doing calisthenics. Like, I'm in this guy's like workouts on Twitter, right? Like, this is how about him I am, right? Is coming out of Dakota, I was super pumped on him. In my mind, I had this thing where Green Bay was going to get Pickens and Watson, but I was all about it. And I think, he's a freak as far as talent goes. I mean, if you can imagine, Randy Moss, if he was a little faster and a little taller, and got injured a whole lot more. But outside that, I think I'm huge on Christian Watson. I will remain to be, when it first came out and he drops like the first pass, and I'd be like, this kid sucks, and I'm just like, think back to Devontae Adams. He sucked, He hasn't quite living up to Devontae Adams yet, but
not many people have.
No, and nobody will, turns out.
No.
The other one is Darnell Washington, and big tight end for Pittsburgh. coming out of Georgia. I'm convinced he just hasn't been allowed to develop yet. And I think maybe with Aaron Rodgers, there might be some. This is the year to shine, right? If he doesn't do anything this year, it might be time to move on from that opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem with that, though, is they have Fryermuth ahead of them, and they also just traded for Jonnu Smith.
No, I just need to see anything. Right?
Anything?
Give him, like, he's had a couple catches, but for the most part, like, they use him as a blocker. And
Yep.
the man's a freak.
Well, yeah, he's a freaking offensive tackle playing tight end.
Yeah, right? And he's fast. So
guy's huge.
It's a lot of human being. And so it's like, if he could just, it has to be, right? I mean, we're still drafting Kyle Pitts, right? Like, come on, there's got to be some hope here.
True that. All right. So this is going to be the fun part of the show.
Fun.
The trade nightmares. So it's a confession time. In your mind, what is an absolute worst trade you've made in our league?
Year one, I needed running backs. And I traded T. Higgins in a third to acquire, I don't even remember his name anymore, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
You know, and for anyone that's curious, yes, that was the year that he, like, stopped playing and then went to, like, the Jets and the Cowboys and phased out. I quite literally gave Chris T. Higgins. It wasn't even a trade. I handed him over with a third. So it's like, how does it work out? Well, it worked out terribly. You know, I'm still trying to find a running back, and I don't have T. Higgins.
I tried to give him back to you a couple times.
Give. Yeah, give's an interesting word you chose there. But yeah. There's been quite a bit of stuff, but that's easily, I mean, when you think about trades, there's been a couple other ones that I don't think of, you know, a lot of them work out, right? Where it's just like, you know, this is good. Or like I traded for Kelsey and then that didn't work out and I was able to use him somewhere else, right? To trade him off and acquire something else I needed. So outside of like that one trade, I can really make the rest of them make sense, right?
Yeah.
Like that was bad. Like it's just, I mean, I held Dalvin Cook for 3 years and he never played a snap. You know what I'm saying? It was or 2 years, whatever it was. But the point is, it was so miserable. And T. Higgins gets, you know, could you do it worse? You get a pick and you get T. Higgins. T. Higgins gets a fat contract on one of the best offenses in the league and plays second only to Jamar Chase. Could you ask for a better situation, right? Where's Dalvin Cook? The couch? Like, come on, man.
Well, if it's any consolation, I wanted T. Higgins with the Chargers, but that obviously didn't happen.
That's okay. You still get him on your fantasy team. It works out really well.
Still get him on my fantasy team. So if that's your worst one, what's the best trade you've made?
I've decided it's the one I made this year because otherwise I have to admit I gave up Ashton Genty for nothing. Oh, no. You know, so there's that league rule where like lowest possible points is how you acquire the picks, right? For the one they're 12 through 7. And so last year basically dumped anyone on my roster that could potentially score anything that I knew wasn't part of the future and made sure we got the number 1 overall pick. And then as far as I'm concerned, Chris, you got raked over the coals on that pick. So I acquired, I think I gave you a 4 and a 5 for the one.
4 and a 5. In 2027.
In 2027. So you got the 101, a 4 and a 5 in 2027. I got the 105, 2 1s next year, and a 2 next year. So I've got 3 first-round draft picks going into next year, plus a second-rounder, and it cost me Genty. And then, you know, when Tet dropped to 5th at the 105, I mean, everything just kind of was like, you know, it opened up, and it was just like, wow. So Tet, you know, if I was the 102, I would have took Tet. And so to get him at 105 was incredible.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I traded the 101 to the 102, and I acquired 2 more 2s, or two more 1s and a 2. So I think that's probably the best one I've done yet.
Yeah, that trade to me it's a great move for my team, but could also really hurt my team if it doesn't play out. I mean, obviously, I'm in win now. I want to win this year.
Right.
And so I think getting Genty might help push that to there with, you know, CMC and Dobbins and Breece Hall and Jonathan Taylor, all who have injury histories as my other running backs.
That's the fun part of a trade like that, too, though, because you're in a win now and I'm in a win in 2029. You know, I have the potential. I think I dare anyone to show me they have a younger squad, right?
I can actually tell you right now.
Yeah, and who's got a younger squad than me? And with Aaron Rodgers excluded.
When you go into Fantasy Calc, if you click on the adjusted age, my squad is actually the youngest adjusted age.
Dynasty253, brought to you by Fantasy Co.
Yep, right. So I'm at 24.5 adjusted age. Ethan's actually at 24.8, and you are 24.9.
All right, we're young.
But
If I
yours is
removed Aaron
skewed.
Rodgers, I'd drop down to 22.
Yeah, you're skewed because of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only person on my team, I think, over 26. Maybe there's a
He's
couple there. But the point being, I mean, oh, yeah,
yeah.
so it's Aaron Rodgers and, oh, goodness gracious, I can't think. I'm forgetting a lot of names right here, but Austin Eckler. Between those two, I've got some age on there.
Oh
But
yeah.
the majority, I mean, I think over half my team qualifies for the taxi squad. So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Younger, though.
Yeah, you got a young squad. I mean, I
So
think
you're
my
like
oldest.
overall in power rankings and in age?
Mm-hmm.
Get fucked.
Well, I think my oldest player is, I can pull it up. Well, besides Keenan Allen, Keenan Allen's my irrationally in love with player. He's one of my favorite wide receivers of all time.
Yeah, that's like me and Donald Driver, though. You know.
Yeah, that he's gonna go to pasture on my roster. He's not going anywhere. But after that, it's like, okay, Christian McCaffrey. Because I mean, all my running backs are young with Hall, Taylor, and Genty. My receivers of Neighbors, London, and T. Higgins with, Mr. Can't Catch a Ball, Quentin Johnson, who is by far my worst draft pick of all time because I took him number 2 overall when I could have taken Jahmyr Gibbs. We're not going to talk about that. Yeah, you remember that year. That was year 2. Yep, that was a bad one. But quarterbacks, I have Herbert and Lawrence. Darnold just traded for Anthony Richards' sake. Oh, I have Jameis Winston. Like, okay.
He's a locker room guy.
Yeah, he is. He is. And then throw in Brock Bowers at tight end.
Yeah, that's actually really impressive.
So.
And you got Johnny Smith? I didn't know that.
Yep, I have Jonnu.
Okay.
I don't remember. I think I picked him up off the waiver wire, I think.
Oops.
Can't remember.
We made mistakes, team.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, any other comments you want to make about your roster this year? How you think you're going to do in the league?
I'm not projecting a high finish. I went and looked at like the lineups or whatever for like week 1, and I'm in agreement with Sleeper. I don't think they're that off, and that's okay. That was, I'm trying to build a dynasty. There's still holes to fill. We're not in a go get it mode right now. I mean, weird stuff could happen. The only thing that sucks about Tet is Jalen Coker was really kind of starting to come to his own last year, and I was pretty hopped up on him. And is it Veli Veal? I don't know. He plays for Denver.
Oh, Vele.
Yeah, Vele. There you go. I don't know how to say his name, but he gets points. So I was pretty excited about that. And then I went super heavy on tight end sleepers this year. I want Fannin to relive his last year. Go ahead and go set some records. And I think Arroyo in Seattle has a whole ton of potential. So
oh yeah, I think he could beat out Noah Fant easily.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I think that was a massive steal in the draft for Seattle. For me, like there's hope, right? So there's a whole lot of. It's like I don't have a ton of like, looking at it statistically, the odds are very small, right? But I mean, like there's potential sleepers on there, like you did with Puka and
Kyron.
Yeah, like no, would you get him in the 4th?
Yeah, Kyron in the 4th, Puka in the 5th.
Scorers? Yeah,
yep.
I think it's possible, right? Absolutely doable. So no, I don't think too much for the team, honestly. I don't have a whole ton of. I won't call it faith. I believe in them, but I already know the holes I got to fill for next year, so I'm pretty sure that's not a good way to start the season.
Yeah, well, you got the draft picks for it.
Yeah.
You got the draft picks. Well, looking at the rosters, I know you said you were looking through the week 1 rosters. Who do you think's winning the league this year? Who do you think is the favorite to win the league this year?
I'm going to call it out right now. If Christian don't win, it's a damn shame. I mean, look at his squad. Christian, if you do not win, Christian, all right, if you do not win, Christian, it will be a shame. That squad is freaking stacked. So I know he's not like number 1 overall in power rankings, but just thinking about the season that's coming up and everything, I honestly believe Christian's a shoe-in to pull this thing off.
He's loaded. Christian and Keith is also loaded. Failboat captain. When you have Saquon and Bijan as your 2 starting running backs.
You don't know how we let that happen.
Don't know. I mean, those are some loaded squads. I mean, Chapin's got a great squad still, too.
Yeah, he's one and done.
I hope Chapin listens to this and laughs. So what's one league rule?
Justin Jefferson.
So what's one league rule you'd change if you could?
Well, you've done a good job fixing stuff for the last couple of years. I think the only thing I don't like is the way that we order draft order. And I know we've had our discussions on why you do it the way you do. But I don't love the, max possible points because if some rando goes off and I get boosted ahead, even though I had a trash season, now I lose the number 1 overall pick, which is, like I was saying, kind of what I did last year, right? When I moved my squad to the minimum, right? To still stay within the rules, right? I wasn't tanking, but it was as close as you can get. And so, I didn't want to drop the squads per se. I mean, I was able to pull it off and it didn't hurt me in the end. I needed room for the draft picks anyway. But, I don't love that, someone could just have a trash bench and the same record as me. And even though I lose a bunch, and just because I had some guy that, this is the worst case scenario, but I had one guy that, it was a week 18 matchup and they put in the backups and then random guy goes off for 30 points and I jump over somebody. And it's like, I'm not better. Maybe, his guys are in a matchup where they're actually competing for a playoff spot and my guys aren't. And I just get, the junk squad and I got to start a roster. And so I end up getting a whole bunch of random points. And it just says, I'm better than that guy. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily true. I do like, I think the league, when you finish a season with 1 win in the regular season, I think it's pretty telling that your squad kind of sucks.
You had some couple close ones there.
Because people have bad weeks.
Yeah, they always have bad weeks. Yep. They always have bad weeks.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's how we win this year.
There you go.
Pure luck.
So what's your idea for a fantasy punishment this year?
Dude, I want to do the puzzle in the closet with a headlamp so bad. You put on a headlamp. We can make it a 100-piece puzzle. Don't got anything crazy, But you got to go in the closet with a headlamp. And then you got to put that puzzle together. And you can't come out until that puzzle's done. If I lose, though, and, people want to pitch in, I love the Waffle House for 24 hours. I'll do that.
You and me both, man.
It's like, oh, no, don't burn me with a good time. No, I like that. There was a couple of discussions I was thinking about. We're kind of busy, so the actual idea of doing something that requires a certain, large amount of time could be difficult. Something as simple as doing a postseason conference. You could take questions. But it would be the first time you hear them, and they're written.
Yep.
And we're not going to go too crazy, okay? But relatively embarrassing,
Yeah, you keep it PG, but embarrassing.
Like when you started the season, did you know you were going to let your family down? Stuff like that, and then they got to answer it. I think that'd be a good time. So those are 3. If I lose, give me Waffle House.
Okay. I kind of like that last one, though.
It's good, right?
I like that last one. You can post with all your social media accounts and
be really good. That way we can just embarrassment is hard when you're concentrated.
Yes.
But if you can send it out to 1,000 people, easy peasy.
Yeah. I give you that. Yeah, I like that one. And last one, I just kind of threw this in here. Who are your top 10 current quarterbacks in the league?
In fantasy or in the NFL?
Nope, in regular NFL.
Okay, because there's certain people like Jalen Hurts that get a little controversial.
Slightly.
Whew. I don't think it's going to be any crazy. I think the order is where people get a little combative. I think Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the league right now.
Okay.
Maybe not so much, but if you look at last year and what he's capable of between, his arm and his feet. I know it's like we're going to go quick through this, but think about it this way, right? No one's talking about Zay Flowers the way they're talking about A.J. Brown, the way they're talking about Jamar Chase, the way they're talking about Justin Jefferson, right? He's not that dynamic wide receiver, and Lamar Jackson's getting it done. So, number 1, and then the rest in no particular order. Probably Burrow, Mahomes, Goff. I think Stafford still got it. Jaden Daniels. I'm going to put Jordan Love in there just because I want him so bad to have a year. He has to, right? I think Herbert's good. I think his issue is just he needs the right talent around him to really take it to that next level. So it's at 8. We got Goff, Mahomes. I think I might have said him already, though.
Yeah, so you got Mahomes, Lamar,
you wrote him down?
Goff. No, you got Lamar, Goff, Herbert, Burrow, Stafford, Jordan Love, Josh Allen.
No, I didn't say Josh Allen, but I should have.
Josh Allen. Jaden Daniels.
Just forget the league MVP.
Jaden Daniels.
He's a bum. Man, who? CJ Stroud.
Okay.
I'm still in on CJ Stroud. I know he had one bad season, but I think there's a whole lot of stuff. Although I will say, honorable mentions: Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel.
Love it, Jameis Winston.
True story, actually. Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Really, as far as like an honorable mention goes, and maybe even a considerable for a top 10. If I hadn't said Jordan Love, probably a conversation to have. Yeah. We'll see what. It seems so weird to say Sam Darnold, but we'll see what he does in Seattle. I don't want to take away his season last year. He did incredible things. And I think a lot of that has to do with Minnesota's offense. But if he can pull it off again in Seattle, then for sure he's moved into top 10. So
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Well, nice. That wraps up all my questions for you.
sweet.
Just to go in really quick because we're at the 38-minute mark already.
We'll
Time flies.
We'll edit down some.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. Quick run through my background. Born and raised in Southern California. Born in San Diego. Grew up out in the Inland Empire. That's where I met Keith and Robbie, who are also in the league, who we hope to get on this show again, or at some point, I should say. Moved up to Washington in 2006. Been up here ever since. Obviously met you at TCC. I've been a letter carrier at the post office for the last 7 years. It's where I met Christian, who is in the league. It's where Bruce used to work. Well, Bruce still works there, but Bruce is no longer in the league. Worked a few other jobs. How I met a lot of the guys in the league, actually. You know, Chapin, Tommy, Tyler. Who else did I meet there? Old guys like James that was in the first year. You know, I met them when I was working at Sports Authority. Never married, no kids. Proud uncle to a niece and nephew. Well, niece and 3 nephews, I should say. And then, of course, an honorary uncle to your boys. You know, I've known Connor since he was in diapers.
I've had 3 kids since I met you. I was thinking about that a minute ago.
Yep.
They were talking about you earlier. They're curious when you're coming to visit. So
6 weeks.
Yep.
Be there in 6 weeks.
They're pumped. They said it's good when Chris visits.
Yep. Tell Shani better bust out those cornhole boards and get practicing.
Lose a 6-year-old again.
So yeah, I mean, I've been a Charger fan pretty much my whole life. When I was younger, you know, my mom was married to a guy who was a diehard 49ers fan in the 80s. And so obviously I did root for the 49ers. I was a big Jerry Rice, you know, Joe Montana, Steve Young guy, but always had a soft spot for the Chargers, my hometown team. Really started following them. I don't want to say the Super Bowl is like the year before the Super Bowl that they got blown out by the 49ers. And it was kind of like a win-loss type of thing for me. It was like happy the Niners won, sad the Chargers lost, kind of one of those things. Obviously, my all-time favorite player is LaDainian Tomlinson. Been a diehard since they drafted him. Loved him coming out of college. So, I mean, I've been playing fantasy football since 2000, right around 2000, 2001, I think.
When they were faxing it?
Yeah, basically it was all paper. It was all paper stuff. It was, you know, through one of my friend's dad was playing it. So I jumped in and kind of did it that way. Wasn't very good, but had fun. And obviously as progressed, you got into your 16-team league. Been in a few other different, you know, 12-team leagues when James was in the league. Obviously, you know, that one folded. That was a whole nother fiasco. We won't touch on that in here. But really, I always wanted to try a dynasty league. I like the idea of drafting your team and being as close as you can as an NFL GM as you possibly can be, because I'd like to think none of us are smart enough to do it, but you look at some of the moves they make, and I think a lot of us could do it. I think
Carolina is a professional football team. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I think a lot of it, well, so are the Browns and the Saints.
That's a good point. The Browns have never done anything good.
Yep. And the Saints just
one time.
Look at the Saints, you know, draft capital, or not draft capital, but their cap space and for the last decade and a half. So obviously, like I said earlier in the podcast, I'm very much a research guy, podcast listener. It's a nice thing about my job is I can throw in an earbud and listen to all the podcasts I want when I walk around. So don't let the bosses see that because they might not like that.
So let's keep this one internal.
Yeah, we're going to keep that in here. Best and worst finish in the league. Obviously, the first year of the league, I finished.
Tell me he never won.
I did never win. I finished second to last in the very first year of the league, and that was rough. Lots of injuries. Going into year 2, made it to the championship game. Somehow I had to start Will Levis in the championship game. Looking back on that squad, I had like Trevor Siemian on my bench as a quarterback because I had lost all my starting quarterbacks to injuries.
Maybe you traded for Joe Flacco.
And no, I tried to trade for Jake. No, is it Jake Haener? No, the backup to Joe Burrow. Who is that guy?
Oh,
yeah, the one-hit wonder.
Jake Palmer? No, it's a kid out of Washington.
Yeah, Jake Haener, right?
No,
is it Haener?
No, keep talking. I'll go find it for you.
I thought it was Haener, but that actually that hurt. That hurt. I had lost 2 games, I believe, that entire season, and to lose it in the championship game because I had no quarterbacks And Will Levis got me negative points because he threw an interception and then got hurt. Yep. So that was rough.
Jake Browning, we did him like that.
Jake Browning, that's what it was. Obviously, being a Chargers fan, I guess you could say I'm a little biased towards their players. With the very first pick of mine in the Dynasty League, I took Justin Herbert. It's my boy. Having Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson. Don't want to say that too loud. But other than that, if you look at my team, I don't really draft a whole lot of Chargers. I had Josh Palmer. But thankfully, he's now on the Bills, so hopefully that works out. But then I try to root for some players, but I don't want a roster full of it. So if I lose both in real life and in my Dynasty League, I don't want to be sad for a week because of that.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, I'd say best trade I've made.
If it ain't T. Higgins or Dalvin Cook for T. Higgins, I don't even know.
That's definitely up there.
I dare you to come up with a better one than getting T. Higgins for free.
I mean, the other one I could say that threw the league into utmost turmoil was my CMC trade. That turned the league upside down and honestly did not work out well for me because he played in a game and a half last year.
Oh, he's going to be back this year.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah, he did well last year. I'm sorry that I drafted him in the other league. That's why.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
That one's on me.
So yeah, those are probably my two most memorable ones. I did trade with Robbie before last year. I can't remember what I gave him, but I got the number 6 pick and was able to draft Brock Bowers. So that's definitely worked out well.
Yeah.
Again, trades I regret was trading away the number 3 pick in the second year of the draft when I had 2 and 3 and took Quentin Johnson at 2 and Christian took Jahmyr Gibbs at 3. Like I said, that one haunts me to this day. Looking at my squad, I'd say my strongest position is definitely running back, followed by wide receiver.
Not by tight end?
Tight end's definitely up there. Obviously, because Bowers is so young. What hurts me the most is I don't have a lot of depth. Like my starting roster is phenomenal. My depth pieces are, it's anybody gets injured, I'm hurting.
And I
so definitely
good wide receivers. I've hit you up multiple times, like help a brother out. And you need to kick rocks, but I know what that squad looks like.
Yep. But I don't have a lot of depth, so it's really hard for me to trade away unless I'm getting multiple pieces. That's a hard one. So yeah, I mean, future moves I'd be considering in the league would be looking to add depth, but again, it's kind of hard to do that because I don't have a lot of draft capital.
You have no draft capital.
Not until 2027.
Like I said, do you have picks in 2026?
Yes. Wait, no, not anymore.
That's next year, right?
It's not,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you have any picks next year.
No, I have no picks next year. If you guys want picks from me next year, don't come knocking.
There's no 2 6s.
Nope, none whatsoever.
That's incredible.
Hey, I'd rather win now.
Yeah, get it, Belichick.
Yep. So winning the league this year, that's not me. I have to go Keith, actually. I have to go fail-boat captain.
Interesting.
I mean,
led by Drake May, huh?
I don't even. Again, I think
you don't get hurt again, right?
You and I have had this conversation so many times that like the quarterbacks are fairly meaningless in this league. Fairly, not completely. I think they are. I don't think they're as valuable.
Not when your quarterback is a running back whose entire offense is shoving his ass into an end zone.
Okay, so Jalen Hurts is, we're not going to talk about the tush push, the brotherly shove. Or the tap from the back, whatever you want to call it. I mean, Dak Prescott, when he's healthy, he can be a top 5 quarterback.
And I know that goes against what I said earlier with,
yeah.
maybe Dak will do well. Dak will do really good.
Yeah, good point. With Pickens and CeeDee Lamb.
A lot of throws to Pickens. Good call.
Yep. But you look at his rest of his roster. I mean, Bijan and Saquon is your starting running backs. Like, okay. Wide receivers of Nico, Ladd, DK.
DK's got Aaron Rodgers, too,
Yep.
And Aaron Rodgers ain't washed up yet. Take that one.
Brandon Ayuk, if he ever comes back from injuries.
Right.
And then Tucker Kraft and David Njoku is
Cooper Kupp still have it? We're going into we're digging too deep here, but I wanna talk football again already. So,
he could have it.
Tucker Kraft. Okay.
Keith, you may be getting a trade offer if you listen to this.
Tucker Kraft's a dude, man.
You may be getting a trade.
I wanted them both, him and Musgraves, but
yep.
I didn't.
So yeah, I'm picking Keith. If I can't pick myself, I'm picking Keith. Sorry, Chapin, not gonna let you win again. At least not for a while. League rule I'd change. What's that?
Oh, I was just curious if he's a Bears fan because he got Caleb Williams and Justin Fields. I don't even know. All
Yeah,
I know is Bears quarterbacks don't win games. So
I think he's a closet Bears fan.
I think he is too. Makes sense. Everyone I know that's a Bears fan is also a Seahawks fan. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So speaking of fantasy punishments, that bring us up, maybe we should, whoever loses the year, whatever their favorite team is, they have to buy a hat of their arch rival and wear it during the draft.
And Rocket? No.
And Rocket.
Nope.
Yep.
No.
So if you lose, you're gonna have to rock that Vikings purple or.
Can I pick the rival? Because I'll wear a line.
No, it'll be a consensus.
You put me in blue and orange, and I'm out. I don't even care.
It'll be a consensus of the league.
Oh, that would suck. That's motivation, though.
I mean, could you see like Chapin wearing San Francisco 49ers?
I swear to God, it's so much easier to wear a 49er hat when you're a Seahawk fan than to do anything Bears.
It'd be like me wearing a Raiders hat.
No,
Can't do it.
I can't.
Can't do it.
I just will have to. Vikings are fine, I guess. They're okay.
Yeah. So the one league rule I'd change would be adding playing against the league median, which I know you and I have discussed.
Ad nauseum.
To me, it just takes out a lot of the luck factor out of it. It doesn't prevent bad beats. It lessens the severity of the bad beats that happen. So that's my thing. We can discuss it later.
Part of an episode to that.
I think we could.
Going back and forth on why that doesn't work.
I'm game for that. I'm game for that. That's about it. I mean, anything else you want to ask?
No, we're at an hour. Editing down, we're still going to have 40 minutes of content.
That works for me.
No, I think this went really well. Swimmingly.
Yeah. I mean, for our first time doing it.
I'm ready for the season. We got 12 days. 12 days till Hall of Fame game.
12 days till the Chargers play.
Yep. Or whatever remnants of them. But
12 days.
In a Chargers uniform is going to play football in 12 days.
Hey, Quentin Johnston's going to be out there to see if he can actually catch.
I'll tell you, man, just don't. Hands is the easiest thing to fix.
I haven't given up hope yet, but getting there.
Someone to be faster, but you can teach him to catch.
Yeah. Haven't lost hope, but I'm definitely getting there.
He can ball.
I hope so.
All right, we got to save
I hope so.
Episode, though.
Absolutely. So that's it for this week and the first episode of the Dynasty 253 podcast. Huge thanks for joining me, Rob. Kind of being my co-pilot through all this and figuring it out. We're not the pros like Chapin, Jimmy, and Derek, so we'll have to get them on here to give us some advice. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed it. Come back for the next episode, and remember, if you aren't trading, you aren't winning.